with Toni Morris. And I have mixed feelings about this because part of me, I'm a human being, right? We feel sorry for people when you see people do things that you know is detrimental to them. But there's the other part of me that feels like when a person is guilty of harming other people or making other people feel bad, then the mercy feeling kind of goes away a little. I don't feel quite so merciful. Just like the Bible shows, where it says that with the measuring line that you are measuring out, you will be measured out in return. How you judge others is how you're going to be judged. So here you've got this guy telling people that tight pants are bad and shaming them and, just going on about things that are seemingly ridiculous and making people feel bad about these kinds of things. Telling kids that, if they don't get baptized, take their driver's license away from them. And just idiotic things that he has said that we're all very aware of because it's been in my videos and in many other activists have been showing these kinds of videos that he's said as well. So it's hard to feel sorry for him when he does that to other people, is all I'm saying. And I'm just putting the video up behind me so you can see what happened. And if you don't already know, what happened was Toni Morris, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, went 25 minutes out of his way, passing other liquor stores in the process, to get to this particular liquor store so he could buy 12 bottles of very expensive scotch. When I say, this is top shelf scotch, it retails for around $100 a bottle. And it just seems weird. And you can say, well, there's nothing wrong with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with what he did. And it's true, there is nothing wrong with what he did, but what the heck? What is your opinion? I'd love to hear, what is your opinion of this? To me, it just seems weird. My opinion is that he has a drinking problem. Because why wouldn't he, if this is for a Gilead graduation, for example, why wouldn't he have gotten someone else to do it for him? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Secondly, it's a strange thing to buy expensive alcohol for people. I mean, even the Watchtower would counsel you, because we have had many Watchtower magazines that have talked about weddings and alcohol at weddings. And they've basically said that when you serve alcohol at a wedding, you are responsible for it. It's one thing to give a gift of alcohol to a friend where you know that person is not an alcoholic. But to arbitrarily give out a lot of alcohol to people that you really don't know, which would be the case here, you don't know if they have a problem with alcohol. They're not really good friends of yours for you to know that. So for you to present them with alcohol isn't really a great idea, is it? Especially from the organization's point of view. I'm trying to say what they would tell you. So just arbitrarily giving it would not be a good idea. And why such expensive alcohol? They call themselves a charity. The money they have is given to them from hardworking witnesses that don't make a lot of money already. They're already struggling to make ends meet because they're being told that education beyond high school is not a good thing. So they're not going to get the higher paying jobs. So they are trying to eke out a living doing manual labor, and their hard-earned money that they think is being used, for Christian activities. They're being told that all donations are used for the worldwide work. And then you learn that there's a $35 million sexual abuse lawsuit that they just lost. And then you hear about all the other horrors that are going on within the organization involving cover-ups and so forth. And then you see this. It doesn't make you feel too good, You got to wonder. I mean, I used to work for the government, and for many years I worked for the government, and we used to have these quarterly meetings. So 4 times a year we'd get together in a fancy hotel. It would always be one of the nicest hotels in town. We'd have a nice, beautiful, 6-course, 7-course meal for lunch, or whatever you wanted with it. And when the public found out about this, they weren't impressed because they realized that their hard-earned tax dollars are being used for these lavish occasions and unnecessary. If Toni Morris really wanted to give people scotch, why couldn't he have given bottles of scotch that were a lot cheaper? Or a $20 bottle of wine? Not everyone likes scotch. I don't. I don't like it. If it was given to me, I would just regift it to somebody who I know would appreciate it, who I know doesn't have a drinking problem. So the whole thing just smells weird. It's just really weird. And then to see him loading it up in his Cadillac is another thing. The organization would have a field day with this if the Pope had done this. Right? You could just imagine that if the Pope was caught doing this, they would have a field day with it. They would love this kind of thing because, look what these false religions are doing with their lavish lifestyles, buying up expensive liquor and loading it up in their caddies. But what I found interesting, so I watched the Watchtower in Focus that was done on the John Cedars channel. And Mark O'Donnell said that a letter had been sent to the organization. I believe it was addressed, I can't remember specifically, but I think it was addressed specifically to the Watchtower, the governing body helper, to Toni Morris. And they explained what was caught on video and how it's all over the internet. And what this person wrote back was disturbing to me. They basically said that we're supposed to give him the benefit of the doubt. that you don't know the backstory, you don't know what's going on, and that when you see these kinds of things, you should assume the best. And I agree somewhat with that. I'm a person that does like to assume the best with people. I don't like to assume the worst. But is that what the organization does? That's the part that bothers me. So, okay, so I'm coming out of a guy's apartment at 7 o'clock in the morning. Would they assume the best of me?
No.
Oh, he probably was just dropping off his mail. Or, oh, maybe he's really sick and she,
Inappropriate.
whatever. Or she happened to have fallen asleep on the couch.
Inappropriate.
And, whatever. Would they assume
Not
the
good.
best of me? No.
No.
We already know that because it's in that exact situation is mentioned in their Shepherd the Flock Secret Elders policy book. And you don't even need a second witness to disfellowship me. If they wanted to disfellowship me, they would have grounds. Because the assumption is I'm coming out of this guy's apartment, nobody else is there, and if people are talking about it, then I'm fair game to be disfellowshipped. Simply because it looks bad. Well, this looks bad. This looks really bad. And that's the part that is like, well, why are we supposed to hypocritically, the organization's being very hypocritical here because we're supposed to just turn a blind eye to whenever they do things. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They're just imperfect. They're not spirit directed, although apparently they are. Here's a case where they are spirit directed, right? So that's the part that I find, I'm not so quick to forgive and forget when I know that this same person wouldn't do the same for me. So there's a lot of things about it that just seem weird. Time will tell how the organization will deal with this. Does he have a drinking problem? I mean, for his sake, I hope not. Because you know what? He doesn't look like a bad person when he's out there in the world. When you watch the video, he doesn't look like a bad person. I don't wish bad on anybody. I just hope that they would not inflict cruelty and horrible policies on other people that ruin their lives. That's what bothers me. He's in a high position. And although they say elders and people in his position will receive double the rewards, they will also receive double the punishments when they stumble people. And I see this as a very stumbling offense. And don't forget, drunkenness is... drunkards will not inherit the kingdom. Drunkenness is an offense that you will be disfellowshipped for. We'll see what happens in this particular case. So I hope all of you are doing well. That's the latest with me. That's the latest with JW.org. There's a lot of things going on. I find it very exciting to see things unfold as more and more people wake up.